Going with that music too. Love music. Thanks, Gail, first of all. Invested you. Right? Also, thanks to Carol. Where's Carol? You going to be here? Oh, there you are. Thank you so much. And to everyone, it's great to be here. And obviously, to join Jane Fonda and Gloria Steinem and Dr. Dorothy Height and Geraldine Laybourne, the past winners of this Vanguard Award, means so much to me. When I saw those names, I'm getting smaller and smaller. I'm like, oh my gosh, to be included with them. And also to be here today with the real sheroes, the Compass Award winners, and also the Leadership Award winners. Just thanks for everything. It's just amazing that Sharon, Rebecca, Kathy, and Susan are here. And well, actually, Kathy's not here, but she's here in spirit. Of course, to Leslie and Andrea, what a riot. Why don't they just become stand-up comics? I mean, I look at them and go, the coffee. Of course, you know, I live in New York City now, so I'm like, boy, that's familiar. It's like the accent's right there every day. And what they've done with this Women's Leadership Exchange is just phenomenal. And it only got started in 2002, and it's just amazing what you've accomplished in such a short period of time. And it's just great to be back in Long Beach, because I was born and raised here. My younger brother, Randy Moffat, also was born here, and we all went to Poly High School. My parents went to Poly. My cousins went to Poly. Green and gold, baby, jackrabbits. You know, love it. So I always love to come back to where it all started for me, literally, in every way. I wish Mayor Foster was still here. Well, you're still here, Nancy. Without everyone in Long Beach helping me through my life, and if the Park and Recreations Department had not had free practice, free group practice, and I got it from Clyde Walker, I would not be standing here today. And I don't think cities understand how important it is to have these opportunities for young people. First of all, it keeps them healthy, it gets them tired, gets them off the streets. And usually athletes get better grades, and they get through school. They are 2/3 more likely to graduate from high school and go on to college, or whatever they decide. Because 76% of kids don't go to college, so we got to have vocational schools and other things really there for them. But I don't really think you understand the impact that it had on me as a child. So that's very important. And what I kept thinking, you know, I'm 63 years old now, and I have so many stories, and I'm thinking, what am I going to tell you? I've got about 2 more minutes, but because we're going to have a great panel up here in just a moment. But I thought, well, it's women today. You know, what I do with my real life is World Team Tennis today, and it's co-ed, and we have pro leagues and recreational leagues. We have corporate leagues. We are now the format that the intramural tennis is using in collegiate tennis now. It's not me, it's taken a lot of people a long time to try to get to this, because the establishment really has had a hard time coming around to this format, which is co-ed, it's cumulative scoring, all these different things. But what it really is, it's about the socialization of young people when they come out to watch a match, that they see that men and women are cooperating and they're equal on a level playing field. And that's really what life's all about. But what I thought I'd tell you about, because everybody comes up to me and says, well, when did you turn pro? Well, there wasn't professional tennis when I played. It was my generation, my age group, that started professional tennis. And in the late 60s, when we started to have prize money for the first time, we used to play for $14 a day. That was really exciting. Not. It was horrible, actually. But you all think of me as a tennis player. But guess what happened? For 2 years, when the men were getting their organization organized in the late 60s, I went to them and said, you're going to include the women, aren't you? And they said, no. So they squeezed us out, and we had less and less opportunities just to play tennis. Forget about the money. We had no places to play. So we had no infrastructure. We had nothing. So there were 9 of us called the original 9 that signed a $1 contract with Gladys Heldman, who at that time was the publisher of World Tennis Magazine. And we were so scared, we had no idea what was going to happen with our lives. We got suspended from our associations. It was a terrible time, very lonely time. And we got ostracized by our fellow players, which really was devastating. And the men devastated me already because they said no to us. They said, people will never pay for you to play tennis, to come and watch you play. So what happened, we had no infrastructure, so guess what? A group of 6 of us, my former husband, his name's Larry King. No, not that Larry King. No. He and I and 4 other people decided we'll put our money where our mouth is. We had no money, by the way. We had nothing. So I started going out and learning how to ask for money, like sponsorship and things like that, by the seat of the pants. So anyway, that's how I got into business. We did one other thing in 1968 when we only had $5,000 to our name. We did an event at the Oakland Coliseum, and Larry took it out of our savings, and I about fainted. Was I scared? I thought, oh God, if we lose money, we didn't lose money. I can't remember if we made money. I got to call him and ask him. I can't remember. I was so worried about the money, but we did. I think we made some money. So but later on, when we had this birth of women's professional tennis in 1970, when we signed this $1 contract with Gladys, we started having our own tournaments. We had to. Nobody else wanted to do it. We just begged and begged and begged. And of course, now there's a waiting list. People want tournaments, and we have different levels. And the first year, in 1971, we played for $350,000 total prize money. And now today, in 2007, with 75 nations competing, we have about 2,000 players that are trying to make it. We have close to $65 million in prize money. And when you hear the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour, just remember that original 9 story, because that was the birth of women's professional tennis. And now you know it as the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour. But I've been a small business owner since 1968, so I feel your pain. It is so hard. It's hard work. And if you own your own business, it's 24/7. And I understand that. So there's a couple things I want you to think about. Ask for what you want and need. Girls are not taught to do that. We are not. And I wish I'd asked more. And I think when Rebecca talked to you earlier about going into bankruptcy and then starting over and all that, just remember that there's no such thing as failure. It's called feedback. I call it feedback. Okay? Because you learn from every experience. Winning, losing, you learn from everything. In fact, when you win is when I think you should think about it more, not when you lose. Know why you win. And champions adjust. Champions adjust. I mean champions in life and in business and everything, family, whatever, because we're always adjusting. So, and pressure is a privilege. Pressure is a privilege. Think about it. So when you're in the office or wherever you work, at home or whatever, just remember to say that to each other, because you'll have fun with it. And I just want to thank you you will, because my associates at work say, Billie, champions adjust. Or Billie, when I start getting in a state, they'll go, oh, pressure's a privilege. So give it back to each other, and it's fun, and it'll lighten up the day, and you can start over and regroup and go for it. And that's all I want to say to you, and thank you to the sponsors. Thanks, Carol.